सहनाववतु सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। मौनव्याख्यप्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं वर्षिष्ठान्देवसदृशिगणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मारामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषण्णं सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात् त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवं जननमरणदुःखच्छेददक्षं नमामि। चित्रं वडतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्नसंशयाः निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैः स्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदः क्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. So now we just on a running reading from the Vaidadhya Prakarana. Again and again reminding you why the Swapna state is equivalent to, why the Jagrat state is equivalent to the Swapna state. Vaidadhyam sarva bhavana, together. Vaidadhyam sarva bhavanam swapna ahur manishinaha andasthanatu bhavanam samvrudatvena hetuna adhirghashtva cha kalasya gatva deshanna pashyati pratibuddhascha vai sarva tasmin deshena vidyate अभावश्च रथादीनां श्रूयते न्यायपूर्वकम् वैदध्यं तेन वै प्राप्तं स्वप्न आहुप्रकाशितम् अन्तस्थानात् तु भेदानां तस्मात् जागरितो स्मृतम् यथा तत्र तथा स्वप्ने संवृतत्वेन भिद्यते स्वप्नजागरितस्थाने एकमाहुर्मनीषिणः भेदानां हि समत्वेन प्रसिद्धेनैव हेतुना आदावन्ते च यन्नास्ति वर्तमानेऽपि तत्तथा विदधे सदृशा सन्तः अविदधा इव लक्ष्यता सप्रयोजनता तेषां स्वप्ने विप्रतिपद्यते तस्मादाद्यन्तवत्वेन मिथ्यैव खलु ते स्मृताः स न धर्मो यथा स्वर्गनिवासिनां तानयं प्रेक्षते गत्वा यदैवेह सुशिक्षिताः स्वप्नवत्तावदित्वन्तश्चेदसा कल्पिता त्वसद् बहिश्चेदो गृहीतं सद् दृष्टं जाग्रद्वृत्तावपि स्वान्तश्चेतसा कल्पितं त्वसद् बहिश्चेदो गृहीतं सद् युक्तं वैदध्यमेतयोः उभयोरपि वैदध्यं वेदानां स्थानयोर्यदि कयेदान् बुध्यते भेदान् को वै तेषां विकल्पकः. So, question is asked. Now, answer also we did. Kalpayatyatmanatmanam atma devasvamayaya sayeva buddhyade vedan iti vedanta nishchayah. When we are reading this, you should know that Gaudapada is not talking about the mithya states at all. He is talking from the highest state of consciousness, and he says all these are to one who has awakened from the waking state. A waking world also is as unreal as the dream world. There is no need for any type of yukti there. It is samanya yukti. It is understood. When you wake up from the dream state, nobody has to tell you dream was all some bunk. Is it not? Nobody need to tell you, you know it. Similarly, you wake up from the waking state into the higher state of consciousness, then what happens? Immediately you know this waking state was also one great dream. But in order to satisfy ajnanis like us, he has given so many reasons. Andasthanato, then samvrdatvad, then drishyatvad, anityatvad. So many reasons are given. Or both the waking state and the dream state are unreal. And the Purva Pakshi is somehow trying to break the stand of the Vedanta, and he gives in so many arguments that some are seen outside, some are seen inside in the dream state. So how can you compare it with the waking state? Waking state, everything appears to be real. From which standpoint? From the dreamer standpoint. But when from the Atman standpoint, even this waking state is also one big long dream. That is all. We have to always remember that he is not at all elaborating on the mithya world at all. He is only elaborating on the highest consciousness. Hence, we have to... So, after every argument, this Apurvada is there in the dream, but Apurvada is not there in waking state. Who said? Apurvada is there in the waking state also. And then he says Aprayojana is not there. Prayojana is there only in the... You are confusing both the states. That is the only problem. Prayojana, it has prayojana for the waker. The waking experiences have prayojanam for the waker. The dream experiences have prayojanam for the dreamer. Then why you are saying there is no prayojanam? They are similar. Have you understood? I went through again and again. I go through because let it become at least some portion of it be. That is why we say the waking world is as unreal as the dream world. So when no more argument the Purvapakshi had. So what did he say? Okay, agreed. But who is seeing all this? If the waker also is not there, it's also a mrisha, then who is seeing? Who is knowing that it is mrisha? Who is knowing? Okay. That it is unreal. For whom is this knowledge? He asks. And here beautifully answer is given. Kalpayat atmanatmanam atma deva somayaya. That deva, that Turya. Deva means Jyotanath Deva. Jyotanath, because he illumined by consciousness is always an illumining factor. So, they are called Deva. Deva Somayaya. He himself created all these things. Kalpayadi. So whatever is Kalpana is always unreal. Kalpayadi. Atman Atmanam Atma. Atma alone is doing all this mischief now. Atma does not. Atma plus Maya. Atma plus Maya. So he says here, Swamayaya Saeva Buddhyade Vedan iti Vedanta Nishchayaha. All these Vedas are created by him only. How can one Karta become all these? He can. He can do anything. If one little mind of ours can think so many Vedas, what about the total? How many things it can think of? So you cannot say that. Till now he boldly talked about logic. When the question about reality comes, he drops all logic. Who? Gaudavada. Now, in the Mithya world, logic has validity. You understand? But in that world, there is no validity for it. So when talk about reality comes, he drops all logic and says that is the Nishchaya of Vedanta. Finished. No more logic there. When it comes to Atman, all logic is dropped. The end of logic is the beginning of spirituality, they say. Logic goes only to a certain extent. It's a science. Like chemistry and physics and all. All limitations are there. Logic also has its limitation. So we say, you just reason until you realize that no reason can reach there. Then you drop the reason. That is the method in Vedanta. So he says here, the question is not about pramatra, pramana, prameya and all that, but that which is beyond. And we remember one verse in Saddarshana Bhashyam. Saddarshan, Ramana puts in his own peculiar language. Chitrayatra lokyam cha vilokita cha. Chitram, that suppose you are seeing a picture. That picture, the seer of the picture, Vilogita cha pada, and that painting itself. Padaha, prakasho, and what is illumining all of them? The consciousness that illumines everything. Okay. Pada prakashoya abhavatsa ekaha. That one has become the picture, as one become the Vilokita, the seer, and also the prakasham in which you are seeing it. All that is that esa ekaha. In the same way, that same Paramatma has become, by his Maya Shakti, he appears in different bhavas in the waking state and in the deep sleep state. Both are, from the point of view of the Atman, both the states are Mrisha. Neither there is a waking state nor there is a dream state. There is, but that is only a appearance, illusory perception. We not talk about Prajna. He doesn't know anything. He is covered with avidya. So nothing is known. No objects are there. No experiences are there. So he doesn't give us trouble. Having said that, kalpayadi atmanatmanam. So what was there in the beginning? Only Atman was there, and that in between, that Atman appeared as so many things. How? By its own Maya. He said there, I don't know, I must remind you of Kaivalya Upanishad, which we have done at the beginning. In the Kaivalya Upanishad, it is nice to read what Kaivalya Upanishad says about this. In its 12th, 13th and 14th verses, he says, Sayesha Maya Parimohidatma Shariramastaya Karodi Sarvam. Sayesha Maya Parimohidatma. As though the Atman is deluded by Maya. As though, not always, Shariramastaya karodi sarvam striyannapanadi vichitra bhogaihi saeva jagrat paridripti medi. It itself has become the Jagrad Avastha. With what? With the Maya. And hence it is, even the Jagrad Avastha is also a Maya Prapancham. And he says, Swapne sajiva sukha dukkha bhokta somayaya kalpita jiva loke. Now he is going to say jiva came first. Somayaya kalpita jiva loke. Everything by Maya only. Sushupti kale sakale viline tamo vibhuta sukharupamedi. And in Sushupti kala, sukharupam. It enjoys the absence of all sorrows. And then again it comes out, is it not? After Sushupti, it again gets up. Karana Sharira gives way to the Karya Prapancha of the waking world and the dream world. So he says here, Punascha Janmandara Karma Yogad Sayesha Jiva Subhidi Prabuddha. That Jiva only gets up again. Subhidi, I had slept well, it says. Prabuddhaha puratraye kridadi yascha jivaha tatastu jadam sagalam vichitram. So what is playing? Maya is playing. Very beautifully it is given in the Kaivalya Upanishad. Though it is a small Upanishad, condensed in it. Even in Manisha Panchaka, the three states are condensed so beautifully. Jagrat Swapna Sushuptishu Sputadara Ya Samvidujrimpade Ya Brahmadi Pipili Kanta Tanushu Proda Jagat Sakshini Saivaham Naja Drishya Vastidi Drita Prajna Yasyasti Chet Chandalostu sadudvijostu gururityesha manisha mama. So what is it? Saivaham, that Atmanayam. Just chant this every day before meditation. You will get meditation very fast. You understand? We have learned and went into the dump heap. What we are doing? We have to choose such passages for meditation. And then read one of them, but inspiring passage, and then sit for meditation. And he says in the next verse about the Brahmaivaham Jagacha Sagalam Chinmatra Vistaridam, by the mind. The dream state, that is. Chinmatra Vistaridam Sarvan Chaidat Avidya Shesham Maya Kalpidam Ashesham Maya Kalpidam Sarvan Chaidat Avidya Shesham Maya Kalpidam Itam Itam yasya dridamadi sukhatare nitye pare nirmale. Description of Atman. Sukhataram nityam param nirmalam. Nirmale, who has got that type of understanding of the Atman, what happens to him? Chandalostu sadudvijostu gururityesha manisha mama. Who cares what caste he is? What powerful words for Shankara to write. Born in this little Kerala and among that caste at its Murthanyam was here. Gone from here, and he saying, who cares? If he understands this, he is Vandyaha. He has to be worshipped. Surendra Vandidapata. He says in the end of this one. He is a man who has to be worshipped even by Devendra. Because he has understood the truth. What beautiful verses in our Upanishads. And then he says in the next, Yashashun Nashwarameva Vishwam Akhilam Nishchitya Vacha Guru Sarnityam Brahma Nirandaram Vimarshadam Nirvyaja Shantatmanam Nityam Brahma Nirandaram Vimarshadam. All the time remember you are Brahman. And you are not a waker, you are not a dreamer. They are all coming and going states, Adavandau. They are not that. But that which is the eternal, the permanent. That I am. And he says here, Punascha Janmandra Karma Yoga. Sayesha Jiva Subhiti Prabuddha. He wakes up. Puratraye Kridadi Escha Jiva Tadastu Jadam Sakalam Vichitram. This samsara is born. Again and again. Every day night, no samsara. Every day morning, your own little private world comes out. No? You went, when you were sleeping, you had no raga dveshas. Did you? No, you don't even know who you are. Okay? And you wake up, first thing, that fellow, I must catch him today. That is the first thought. Who? My enemy. Immediately, your little private world also rises up. He says here, and what is this? What is this we are talking about? Which is the very basis of all the waking state, the dream state, deep sleep state. He says, Adharam Anandam Akanta Bodham. What more explanation you can give of Atman? Adharam, it is the very substratum of the entire world experiences. Anandam, it is pure bliss. Not the opposite of happiness, unhappiness. We know only one type of happiness. And what is that? Opposite of unhappiness. That's all we know. Vishyananda is either you are happy or you are unhappy. In that Vishya, in this samsara, if you will be happy sometimes, you will be unhappy. Sure enough. Some days you are unhappy, some days you are happy. All this happens in this wish, in this world. But what is that? That is the very basis, the very adharam, anandam, akhanda bodham. Not little bodhas. Not little knowledge. Kshanika vijnanam, no. Then what? Kshanika vijnanam is denied in this one line only. Not Kshanika vijnanam, but vijnanam which is nityam, continuous knowing. What Gurudev said about Turiya, continuous knowing. So, akhanda bodham yasmin layam yadi puratrayam cha. And these three states which you have created out of Maya goes into layam in that, which is called, whatever you call it, realization, samadhi, whatever. Okay, I just happened to remember, that punascha janmandara, janmandara karma yoga. Why are we born again and again? Janmandara karma yoga. By that janmandara, other janmas you have done, and its karma bhalas are going to have to be exhausted, so you are born again. So here, the same thing is said, that sayeva buddhyade vedanidhi vedanta nishchayaha. There is no logic. This is beyond logic. Some things are beyond logic. Logic ends with science. After that there is no logic. But a Brahman which can be recognized only by logic, then logic becomes greater than Brahman. How is that possible? You understand? If logic can understand Brahman, then Brahman is an object and logic becomes the subject, which is not true. You cannot know it by logic also. Logic is only to know that you have you have come down to the waking state, you have come down to the dream state, and you have come down to the mithya states, 3 avasthas, to know that. That much only logic can help. Then about now we are in a different ground altogether, and even Gaudapada, where angels fear to tread, that is where we are now. Now he says, continuing, he says, until now he boldly talked about logic, but now he has become silent about logic. He is only talking about that ultimate, which is beyond all logic. Vikarot aparan bhavan antaschitte vyavasthitan niyadamscha bhishchitta evam kalpayate prabhuho. Vikara, the Lord of my life, that is the Lord. The Atman turned, when its mind is turned outward, aparan, bhavan, andaschitte vyavasthitan, imagines the diverse objects of what? Both the outer and the inner worlds. Bhava is there. Imagines all objects in my inner world of mind and sukshma sharira, and he also imagines the world outside, bahibihi, the object of both the outer and niyadam world, means the material world that we see, the waking world is called niyadam. And niyadam, the imaginary world of dream, is aniyadam. Niyadam, the world of, to us, whatever our logic we have heard, the waking world is real, even now, today also. Is it not? Yes or no? By erroneous thinking which has become a habit. Why are we thinking like that? Because that's a habit. We have been thinking for many lives, not only one life. What were we thinking? That this waking world is real. I don't know about whether Atma is there or not, so why should I bother about that? Waking world is real. And the dream world is Mrisha, we know. So waking world is my world. Everybody's world. And whatever happens in the waking world is real. When you get out of this type of thinking, you become free. You become muktaha. At this moment, you are conditioned by your own thoughts. That will go. So he says, Niyadamscha bahishchitta evam kalpayade prabhuho. Now, arguing about that, the Bhashya says, Swapnavrittavapi. What is the verse? 13th. Kalpayati atmanatman. So he says here, in what manner does he imagine the Atman? This is being stated. He makes, that is, imagines them as many, the worldly objects, niyada vastus, bahyam, such as sound, etc. He also imagines other non-manifest things in the form of impressions, vasanas in your mind, arranged in his mind. He turns his mind outward and imagines steady objects like the earth and unsteady objects like the lightning, which remain only for a moment. Similarly, he turns his mind inward and imagines fanciful ideas. Prabhu means the sovereign Lord, that Atman. It imagines all this. Niyadam and aniyadam. It has become self-forgetfulness, they say. Such words are used, we don't accept those words about Atman. But very often Vedanta says, why did the Lord do that? He was self-forgetful. If he can be forgetting his own self, why can't we? You understand? All these are questionable for the arguing persons. That is why faith is much more powerful than argument. Never ask. You never ask any question in Bhagavata class. Bhagavan became everything. How? You never ask. Where did he say that? Brahma ji took away all the gopas and gopis and hid them up. Gopas and the cows. He hid him up because he wanted to see the Vishwarupa of the Lord. So he hid them all up. And Bhagavan knew because Bhagavan is all-knowing. So he wanted to teach a lesson to Brahmaji. And what did he do? Have you read the Bhagavad? He himself became everything. He himself became the cows. He himself became the cowherd boys. He himself became not only that, their flute and their whip and whatnot. Thus teaching us a lesson also. What? What is the lesson you learn? The Kathakara will make it elaborate and never says the truth about it. But what is the truth? He will only tell Katha. And the Katha, Podupu, Tongala ellam vechu. Understand? They never tell the Tattvam behind it. What is the Tattvam? That one Ekaha, he has become all this. One has become many. Why did he do that? He wanted to create. Remember, he had a icha to create. So how did he create? Like this. He imagined everything. So now, even if logic fails, this should not fail. Bhagavan decided, I will become everything. And he became. And 1 year, because Brahmaji's 1 day is 1 year in the world. So for 1 year, these boys and the calves and all were with the Gopas and blessing them. Because Bhagavan only that is. And they are wondering why our children are so sweet. These Gopas thinking they are behaving so well, so obedient, so loving. What happened to them? That Krishna Mayavi is doing something to them. It is Krishna himself. That's a beautiful story. I like in Bhagavad. Himself has become the entire world of plurality. It is said there, because the sovereign Lord turns his mind outward and imagines various things in the world. Ishvara Srishti. And he turns inward, and there are impressions, like what? Like the vasanas, the emotions, the feelings, etc., etc., etc. Everything is imagined by the Lord. So he says here, like the earth and unsteady objects like the lightning, there are umpteen things he imagined. It's only imaginary perception, illusory perception. We are in the Vaidadhya Prakaranam, so that is why he is taken up so much elaborately. Now what is our problem? Our problem is we can see this, and hence what is seen is real for us. You understand? And what is not seen is not real. So what is not seen? Paramatma is not seen. He is agocharam for walk, etc. Is it not? So we cannot see Bhagavan with our naked eyes. What do we see? We see only the waking world. So that is the only world for which we have reality. Now here Gaudapada Acharya, by Shruti and by the Yukti, he is smashing that understanding of yours. It is not real. Then why am I suffering? I don't know. Ask yourself. Why you are suffering? There is no need to suffer, because all this is unreal. How will I get out of it? But that you never say. It is said in the Gita. What did he say? Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya. You cannot overcome my Maya. I am a capable Mayavi, not an ordinary one, not a Sarkar or anybody. You understand? I am very capable Maya. Who? Bhagavan. So you cannot overcome my Maya. Taradi Shogam. Who? Atmavid. Not others. So what should you do? Mama Maya Duratiya. Yo mam prapadyande Maya medam tarandite. The one who has surrenders to me, he overcomes this Maya Jalam, this Maya world of yours, of BMIOET PFT. PFT is what? PFT is what? Ego, Mr. Ego. According to Gurudev. Perceiver, feeler, thinker. That is who? Ego. And this is the perceiver, feeler, thinker. And what do they perceive? Objects, emotions, thoughts. So I have become an ego. Now I have to stop being a PFT. What I see is all unreal. There is no reality in what I see. If I at least start thinking like that. Anything happen in the world and it is upsetting. Oh, what is there? It is only a mrisha. It's only a non-existent thing for which I am weeping and crying. And really speaking, why we are crying, I don't know. We knew from the beginning that nobody is permanent in this world. Everyone will leave us one by one, is it not? And why we are crying? So that remember, anybody cries, they are crying for himself. Not for anybody else. It's a false. Because nobody comes and nobody goes. There is only one infinite, Nitya, Atma. You are that. Why should you cry?
Because we cry, we are not happy.
In Tamil Nadu, at least they will engage people to cry. What is the best part of the whole thing? They give money and make them cry. How stupid it is. That is what we are doing really. Because the house should appear to be sorrowful house. So there are some women like that who will go to any house and cry. What are you, Mrisha crying? Do you think that is any solidity in that crying? They don't feel anything for whom you have lost. Anyway. So he says, Prabhu means the sovereign. Why he uses the word Prabhu? Because he is capable of any number of things being manifested in this world. You understand? And one who surrenders to the Lord, meaning one who has started keeping his drishti in the Atman, he will get rid of this Ajnana Drishti, will be saved from the Ajnana Drishti. That Jnana Drishti will take him away from his Ajnana Drishti. Samyak Drishti we will get. Okay. Creation and destruction goes on side by side in the world. What is there to cry? Not because of all that, it is because of our attachment to certain names and certain forms. We cry. We have become attached. And attached people, naturally we will cry. And lady went to see another lady who lost her son, 32-year-old or something. And then that lady has studied in our Chinmaya, Sandeepani. Gurudev's great disciple she is. And she had studied the 2.5 years, a big business people in Tamil Nadu. So she just wanted to study. She studied and she went back. And her son died. They are very rich. Out of drinking only he died. Cirrhosis of liver came. And everybody went to see the dead body, as usual with us. And my sister, who also went to see the dead body, because they knew the family and all. And she comes and tells me, I'll never join Chinmaya mission. I said, why? Because I went there and that mother is not even crying. She was shocked. And what was she doing, I asked. She was chanting Narayan Nam. Narayana, 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 Narayana. How can you do that? Because I have known little at least of the Atman. You understand? That doesn't mean that I have become a incapable of all feelings. Not like that. To know Atman means that no vikara in you. That is not the meaning. The meaning is you understand the totality, how it functions. Even then, if you feel like crying, cry. What is that? Nothing wrong. But immediately, like that Chennapatnam doll, you will come back to your original mood. Have you seen the Chennapatnam doll? If you just move it, it will go like this. Come stand like this. Finally, 2-3 times it will move like this. And it will... I don't know. I have seen Chennapatnam Bommai, so I am telling. Same thing like that only. You just move it and it will move and come to a halt. Similarly here, not that everybody will not cry and of course you will cry. If you are human. But that is only temporary. There is no permanent sorrow for a Vedanti. Because there's nothing to be worried about in this world. Every one of us, everybody dies, but nobody dies. Everybody dies. In my body also will die. Is it not? Everybody's body will die, but nobody dies. The Atman never dies. That is the meaning when he says that. So now, let's go to the next verse. Chitta kala hi yentastu dvaya kalaschaye bhagihi kalpida eva te sarve vishesho nanya hetuka. So, chitta kalam, some objects are there only as long as you are thinking about it. So, the moment you stop thinking, it is not there. You understand? In the chitta kalam means at the time of the thought, it is there. The moment the thought has ended, that object has gone. From your understanding, it has disappeared. So here he says, those objects which are chitta kala remaining only as long as the thought exists is called chitta kala. Chitta kala and are in the mind only. And chitta kala, naturally, those objects are in the mind, mental objects they are called, and as well as those objects which are called dvaya kalas, which are the objects and exist for an earlier and later period. That is called bahir. In the outside world, that tree is there even before I saw it or thought about it. Dvayakala. In 2 periods of time also it is there. It is not disappearing just because I don't think about it. Does it disappear? It may disappear for me, but it doesn't really disappear. So the bahya vastus, he says, are dvayakalas. They are there. Even if you don't see it or recognize it or know it, it is still there. The word Jagat Srishti is like that. Everyone dvayakala. So don't you think there is a reality for that? How can you say? Chittakala, it is there and exists for an earlier and later period. Purva apara kalam. Before also it was there. That tree was there before I was born also. Is it not? Now I see it. Chittakale, I see the tree. But the tree's existence is dvayakalam. Even when you are not seeing it also, it is there. When you are not thinking about it also, it is there. The world is there, whether you are recognizing it or not recognizing it. Others recognize it. Like that. In the deep sleep, you do not see anything. That doesn't mean that the trees have all vanished. Everything has vanished. No. It is there. Because they are dvayakalas. It is not like the mental thoughts. The thoughts come, the object is there. The thoughts gone, object is not there. Ekakala. But whether the thought, when I look at that tree exists for me. Is it not? But when I don't look at it, the tree is still there. I may not be knowing it because I am not focusing my mind or my drishti on that. So this dvayakalam bahi perceived externally by senses and are fit for worldly dealings, vyavahara yogyam. In vyavahara, you can't have objects which are all flying away. The moment you stopped seeing it, it flew away. How can you do vyavahar? You understand? Particularly if you put the money in the bank and after you came away, the bank has disappeared. You will never put the money. This is not dvayakalam is only for vyavahara. Worldly dealings and therefore called confirming to 2 points of time. All of these 2 kinds of objects are mere imaginations. But both are unreal. It may appear to be having more reality, but actually it is there only for vyavahar. But one day it will also go. A tree also will die in one time or other. And that which born and dies, it's always a changing object, is always unreal. You understand? So everything is unreal. You cannot say because it is standing there for 1,000 years now and hence it is real. Even if it has reality, that reality is relative reality. Relating it to some other thing, a little grass which is born yesterday and died today. Time is small. But that tree might stand there for 1,000 years, but 1,000th year it will die. That Adayar tree, in Adayar in Madras there is that tree. What tree? Banyan tree. It is now slowly disintegrating. It's dying. Question is only when. But death is sure. It's not permanent. It is not nityam. But compared to my life, it is nityam. I live only 60 years or 50 years or 70 years, whatever the case might be. So compared to my little short life, that appears to be, that is the argument here. In the mental objects stay only for a short time. But what I see in the outer world, they seem to have greater reality. How can you say both are on the same footing? You understand? It is only a longer period, but both are mithya only. Okay. Having said that, kalpida evate sarve vishesho nanya hetukaha. And the reason is that objects seen in dream, which are admittedly imagined, also appear externally perceived by dream senses and become objects of recognition in dream. In the dream itself, there is the bahya vastus and the mental objects. Both are unreal. We know that. When you deny the dream reality, we deny both what is seen in the mind and outside the mind. Similarly, you have to deny the existence of the waking world and the dream world. Both are unreal. And now the objector says something. The statement of the Siddhantin that everything in the waking stage is only an imagination of the mind like the dream is to be doubted. Who says? Purvavachi. For objects which are imagined in the mind like ideas or desires are thus limited by the time of the thought, chitta parishchinnam or chitta kale. It is there. from objects perceived externally on account of the latter being limited by mutually determined time, that is by 2 points of time. But this objection is not valid. No. Vedanta says, no, it is not valid. Your objection is not. Objection ruled out. Like in the court. Says, we don't allow you. But this objection is not valid. Chittakala means objects perceived within the mind and existing only so long as the thought exists. Chittakale is said. Only as long as the thought about it is there. Now you have yourself watch your mind. One thought gives way to another. So the object which is represented by the first thought goes. Then you get the second thought and the second object. You understand? And now we are not thinking about that, but something else. That is what is meant by Chittakale, as the thought regarding them exists. There is no other time determining the period of their existence except the time of their thought. Okay, that is understood. Chittakala is understood. Therefore, they are known as Chittakala. The meaning is that they are found to exist only till the time they are imagined. Dvayakala are objects related to 2 points of time. They are Bhedakala. There is another distinct time also determining their period of existence, Kalasya Bhedaka. Or they may be called Anyonya Parichedyaha. First we said, Ekakala is Chitta Parichedya. But here, Anyonya Parichedya. The knower and the known both are limiting each other. That is what is meant by, that is Bheda, or they may be called, that is time limited by mutually determined time. For example, when we say that he sits till the time the cow is milked, what we mean is this: the cow is milked as long as he sits there. Otherwise he won't sit. After milking the cow also he won't be sitting there. The fellow who comes to milk your cow, he will sit there how long? Till the milking is. Dvayakalam is there. After that if he sits, somebody will give one on his back. Those examples only they can give when this was written thousands of years ago. Thus, in the case of objects perceived externally, their period of existence is mutually determined by one another, and therefore they are called Dvayakala, related to by 2 points of time. According to Siddhantin, all objects, whether they are perceived within the mind and are therefore Chittakala, or whether they are perceived externally by senses and are therefore Dvayakala. They are seen by the sense organs. Hence they are Dvayakala, all of them are imagined only. But the point is, are they real? The objects that you see, are they real? That is the question. Why are you saying all types of things? Is what the questioner is getting. The Siddhanti is getting angry with the objector. We are not talking about that. Stick to the point, we say, no? In all arguments, have you ever gone to a sadhas? My God, they literally come to blows. If you go to this Shastra sadhas, how they argue and fight with each other, and we who are watching will feel that they are now going to beat each other. That way they will fight. They are called Brahma sadhas. At least once you must go to see the fun.
They fight in Sanskrit only.
That is why we are not going. Somebody called me the other day, I am not coming. They will try, and we don't even know what they are talking, Only they will fight and they will take a fist, they show it to each other. By senses and their being called Dvayakala is not due to any other cause except their being imagined by the mind. The illustration of dream applies here also. So don't bother about these words too much. One is Dvayakala, determined by two things. The object, the seer and the object seen, both. So Chitta Kalam is very short. But in the waking world, Dvayakalam is there. Because Dvayakalam is that it is there even before, after you finished with it. That is called Dvayakala. It is there even after you have stopped seeing it or thinking about it. So, it's still there means what? It has got a longer existence. The objects have a longer existence. The mental thoughts comes and goes. But the real perception in the waking world, it continues to be there for at least some time. Not only others, even you. You will see the same tree in some other day or next day morning. Ishvara Srishti is meant for the entire world, so many people. It's not meant for one person. Whereas your mental creation is only for yourself. That is why it goes away so soon. Have you understood? Now, this Srishti, why don't we see everything? We see only what we want to see. Why? Because that much of the world only is relevant to me. That is why it is in Dvayakalam. Dvayakalam means Parishchedam is there. That man needs that tree. I don't need that tree. So I don't. As good as non-existent for me. That is the thing. Depends upon the karma balas. Vasanas. Parichcheda, vasana parichcheda. So you see, apparently it looks as though they have greater life than the mental world, which is true also. But what the teacher is laboring to tell you is that both have got beginning and end. Both are drishya vastus. Yesterday's class you were not there. The drishyam, yet drishyam tat. It doesn't matter whether you are seeing it for a long time or short time. Okay. So, Dvayakalam is there and hence Bedakalam means that they are related to some other distant time also. Kalasya Bedaha earlier and as they are recognized later on also. Therefore, there is another distinct time for them to exist. That is at the time of their recognition. Pratyabhijna is there, for example. That Devadatta. Swayam Devadatta. This Devadatta is that Devadatta. 2 periods of time. You understand? Dvayakalam means this Devadatta I am seeing in front of me was that Devadatta whom I have seen 20 years ago in Delhi. What all changed? The person has changed. That Devadatta 20 years ago was a little naked baby which was playing on the ground. And he has grown 20 years now. He said, don't you remember me? I am Devadatta. You understand? In 2 periods of time. Something which is seen in 2 periods of time is called Dvayakalam. That is, and in Vedanta we call it Pratyabhijna. You remember? That same Devadatta is Swayam Devadatta. That Devadatta is this thing. All these are there of their recognition. Dvayakala, Bedakala, Anyonya Parishchedya, Indriyakala, all mean the same thing differently expressed. It is called Indriyakala as it persists to exist till senses perceive it. Suppose you have become blind by that time. 95 years, become blind. So then you don't see the tree just as in your angan. I have seen it so many times, but now I don't see it. Oh, Indriya Kalam. As long as the Indriyas are powerful, you can see. Otherwise, no. Pratyabhijna Kala, as it existed earlier and is recognized as existing later also. All these are happening. In other words, there are so many things. We don't have to go into all that. Only thing is, you see it. It is seen. And what is seen is Anityam. And what is Anityam is not real. Okay? You know, when your thought is going round an object, that object is there. When the thought is withdrawn from it, Chittakale only it is there. When the thought is withdrawn from that object, some other object, you are saying.
Milking and this.
That is also, the milkman can milk only as long as he sits there. He can't stand and milk. Poor fellow.
When he disappears, then the thought also disappears.
Milking is not there. Om